Invasion Angle.
I'm wiping their minds.
Welcome to another episode of the Invasion Angle interview series. It's where we interview all the greatest wrestlers in the fucking universe. Am I righteous? And speaking of them, Hollywood Hunter James joining us right now. Hopping in. And I just want to say, guys, also
Hey, what's
going
There
on,
he is.
man?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Good. How you
Good,
doing
good.
today, man? Getting ready for this Georgia hurricane coming down.
Tell me about
Coming
it.
up.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jason got out right in time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For real.
just moved up to Jersey, so
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if you're lucky or not, because you got to deal with snow in a couple months, and I hate
True.
the snow.
Yeah.
fair
Oh,
enough.
Yeah.
The snow's been light, thank God, the last few winters, but shit's
Any
awful.
snow is
It's
bad snow.
awful when it comes down. I agree. Yeah, I mean,
I'm a beach person, if you couldn't tell.
I feel that 100%. Yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
I'm Chris. To introduce myself.
I'm Hunter James. Nice to meet you.
Again, nice to meet you.
No, I'm gonna get this tripod set up so that way
You
it
got
isn't
it.
so bad.
Yeah.
Everyone's staying safe though.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Got my water ready and the power chargers and stuff.
Think it's gonna be that bad?
I don't think so. I think
Well,
people are
better safe than
overreacting. I think everyone's
Better-
overreacting.
That's fair, but better safe than sorry, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, South gets it all the time, those hurricanes, so you guys should be fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for John, I mean, like, you're way off the coast. Like, you're in Atlanta. Like, you're gonna catch the end of it, right? I assume.
Yeah. I'm pretty inland at least,
Yeah.
but it'll maybe some branches on the lawn I have to take care of.
I'll drive down.
But yeah. Is Jason here and ready?
I'm
Oh,
here. I'm
Jason's
ready.
here.
All right, yeah, we can roll in. I'll do a little intro. Well, today on Invasion Angle Pod, we've got the one and only Hollywood Hunter James, the current Jake the Snake Legacy champion for Southern Honor Wrestling. So yeah, we've got a champ in the house again.
It's looking nice back there.
Yep.
Does, especially with my face on it.
Yep. I loved your edit to the title. It needed an upgrade, and you earned it after ending Chip Day's long ass run.
Well, I've always been more of a Shawn Michaels guy.
Hey,
Yeah.
So I figured if it's not going to be the Shawn Michaels Legacy Championship, I don't want it. But I'll take the
Yeah.
Hollywood Legacy Championship.
Yeah. And you'll be putting that on the line at Still Here 6 against Kyle Matthews.
Once again.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of bullshit, and I'm tired of it. I think it's, you can move on to new people, but Kyle just doesn't stop,
Well, Kyle, he's never officially beaten me now.
Yeah, no,
He's
never
like,
officially.
You verbally tapped out. Yeah, whatever. Okay. I did not hear myself say, I quit, I give up, anything like that. My foot was clearly under the rope. Snake Man saw it. And now I've pinned him in the 6-way. And why does he get another shot?
Yeah.
He can't get the job done. He lost to Chip 104 times. Then he's lost to me 107 times. Okay, it's done. He can't get the job done.
Yeah, maybe let his evil twin Jaden Newman get a shot, I guess, Kyle, but because coming to Georgia territory. Yeah. So yep. Right back to Red Bank. But yeah, we're pumped to have you on the show and kind of go through a lot of great shit you've been doing in your career so far. And I starting off, I think it's pretty pro at this point in your career because you're 21 now, right?
Yep.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You never know with a cage match if they lie about ages or anything else. You can't trust them.
Fair enough. There's some stuff on there that I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. I've never done that move. Well, what the hell?
Dude, and they don't even have Disruptor Wrestling on there, so it's like you guys need to recognize them for sure.
I did like almost 200 matches a couple years ago, and I think it has me down as like a 98 matches. I was like, you didn't
Yeah.
even give me half, not even half. What the hell?
Yeah, and then like there'll be wrestling companies that like have been out of business forever, or just did one show, but they have them on there, but they don't have like companies like Disruptors and other companies on there. It's yeah. So
Yeah, yeah. They'll have the four people towns on there, but not ones that actually draw.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
which is
going to
it's
the
kind of weird to think like in an age of like so much information and like keeping history that all of these indies and a lot of this stuff, isn't like an amazing record kept of all of it,
Well, I can tell you
yeah,
the easy answer to that. And that is old promoters that's been running that same town, that same
Yep.
business for forever. And now all of a sudden they have to learn technology and they want to be stubborn
Yeah.
about it.
yeah. And like so many
Yeah.
refuse to like even like to go to Instagram, X, any of that, or definitely not TikTok, like they'll be on Facebook and then they'll post like event stuff and like they won't even have like the date on it or like don't have an address. And I'm just like, yeah, I'd love to see this, but I just found out about it like an hour before the show because you never just posted it till now. And then what time is it? Like where where is this? And yeah,
Happens too many times where I have to look at a poster and go, "Hey guys, I'd love to come wrestle for you, but like, where the fuck are you?"
yeah. Yeah, it's wild, and it's just yeah. I mean, social media, all that, and it's such a huge part of promotion. And it's like such a cheap way to do like to self promote. Whereas like in the past, you'd have to pay for a spot on the radio on a radio station or local TV or something like
Mhm.
Burn a
that, just
flyer.
and a flyer around town and stuff, word of
Hang up
mouth.
a
So
few
it's
flyers for a free ticket. That's
yeah,
always their
yeah,
move, yeah. Well, it comes down to like I feel like those promoters not wanting to pay someone to take care of their social media for them because they don't know how to use it anyway.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
and the worst part of it is that when you start doing the math on the shows,
Mhm.
money never adds up. Oh, we
Yeah.
don't have the funds. I'll say it.
Mhm.
That's one of the things,
uh,
guys. I don't hold shit back. If I say, I am one of those that if I'll pull the curtain back a little bit and whatever, I don't care because my root of all evil, I'm going to tell the truth. In
Yeah.
yeah,
in this world, that's what we hear a lot is the root of all evil is the truth. Well, guess what? I guess I'm Satan at that point. Then that's all. I'm going to tell you straight up how it goes. So when you look at and think about how the money actually think about it, you're like, okay, well this show $10 ticket, we had 500 people. Okay, that's $5,000. Okay, then
Mhm.
you're like, all right, well, there was only like 10 wrestlers, and you start doing some math, and then you're like, where the hell did the other grand go that you said you couldn't give
yeah.
me an extra $100 or whatever the hell it was.
Mhm.
They just tell you, well, you set up a merch, table for you, so
Yeah,
I'm
thank
sure
God
that
I do that. That thank
Mhm.
God I do that.
yeah, and that's like I don't know, that's so huge. And that's another great thing for I mean, like social media, like having wrestlers be able to self promote and get their brand out there and get their merch out there and stuff too. And I mean, merch tables are great too, just being able to meet the wrestler, get autos, and yeah, shoot the shit a bit.
Face to
Um,
face interactions are always will do
Mhm.
better than online stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah,
makes people come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, and
Especially when you bring your dog to the show and the dog comes out with you and everybody wants to pet the dog. So I'm
Mhm.
like, if you pet the dog, you got to look at my merch.
yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna start charging them for the pet. Be like, all right, pet my
There you
dog is
go. Yeah.
$5.
Yeah, which I thought that was awesome. Like I love your walkouts with your dog, and yeah, it stands out. And just I mean that's why we want to have you on too, because you have that like good on the mic, great in the ring, and yeah, and I think it's like it's awesome when you get to kind of come across talent like this in the indie realm, because we like the big promotions, but we love indie wrestling so much. And yeah, you get to meet talent, talk to them, and then like you build those followers. People are just like, yeah, I'm gonna follow this guy's career now, see where it's going. Oh, he showed up on AEW, he showed up in NWA, he showed up here, and like and then you're just like, yeah, fuck yeah. you know,
Every
and
major company in the U.S. besides MLW for me.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, and
So, and
yeah,
I
and
did
that's
that all before I turned 21.
yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at in the beginning. Like, you know, that you're 21 years old and like the resume is fucking solid so far. Like,
I tried.
yeah, no, it's great, and you know, like the WWE appearance, and I remember that episode too,
I
against the
did
Viking
too.
Raiders, and yeah, and like it's, you know, going in there to do the job, do some enhancement stuff, local talent, but like I'm
Right.
sure that was like such an amazing experience, just being in that ring with that crowd and like having an idea of like, yeah, this is what it's like.
So funny enough, I did the SmackDown previous to the Viking Raiders match. I was a security guard for the
Okay.
Pat McAfee and Baron Corbin segment. They both were fantastic to me. Baron Corbin, I appreciate the bottle of whiskey you let me take home because you couldn't bring it on the plane. Um, and the shot you gave me backstage. So I appreciate that one. Pat McAfee was hilarious as always, walking by Triple H's office, and all you hear is no one calls him Paul. And it was pitch silence in there. It was right before they were about to do a promo, so it was just comedic timing was fantastic. But I remember most that like that whole day when you show up to WWE and I get called, they're like, "Hey, you're doing a match with Viking Raiders." You do the match, and when you get back to the back, I get a text from one of my trainers, Todd Sexton. And I don't know if are y'all familiar with Todd Sexton?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
he does a lot of training. He does a lot of work with Southern Honor.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So yeah, Southern Honor, Southern Fried. He's one of my trainers, and I get a text from him, and he goes, "So how you feel, kid?" And I said, "I felt like I belonged."
yeah,
And he goes, "That's that. I wouldn't expect any other answer from you." And to this day, I still remember uh, the Hurricane, Shane Helms, asked me if I wanted to go say thank you to Triple H while Triple H was in a commercial break. And I was like, whoa, really? I was like, hell yes, I want to go thank him. I was like, hey, side note, I'm named after Triple H. That's where Hunter comes from. So,
that's wild.
third generation, so we're a wrestling family. All the grandkids on one side of the family are wrestling, named after wrestlers. So yeah, I'm Triple H, light, if you will, of the family, and so I got to go sit in gorilla position. It is the coldest freaking room I've ever been in my life, and I'm like, I get why y'all wear three-piece suits now all the time. Like y'all have to get your body temperature up, sitting here shivering my ass off in little bitty trunks, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, and uh, it was cool. I got to talk to him for about a minute and a half while they were on commercial, and just to thank him. And he told me that just keep it up. And he asked me if I was nervous. I said the wrestling was easy, and I was like, wrestling's easy. I said it's the stuff back here that matters to me. And he goes, well,
Yeah,
you did a damn good job. And I was like, you know what? I don't even care if you're lying to me. But I
yeah,
verbally, no, verbally, I feel great right now.
yeah. Well, I'm sure, like, and like, you know, I'm sure, like, from the beginning of your career too, when you start having those matches with like veterans or bigger companies, and like you get a little psyched up before, and then you get in there and you're in there with them, you're like, all right, like, yeah, I'm on this level. Like, this isn't something that's like, you know, out of left field for me. Like, this is, yeah, right where I should be. And
So, oh, go ahead.
no, you can
So
go.
I was notably an amateur wrestler in high school and signed to college. And I remember my freshman year, I did this like camp, and it was just a new coach. We'd never heard of him. And my dad asked me, he goes, "Hey, do you want to go do it? It's a couple hours away." And I said, "Okay, let's go do it. Let's see." I was like, worst comes to worst, it's a Sunday. It's Sunday, we don't do shit anyways. And we go down there, and at the end of the practice, he says a line that I say all the time in locker rooms now, especially since I get to help out young guys, or late not even young guys. Sometimes they're just less experienced than I am, and I just want wrestling to be good because I don't want to watch shitty
Yeah,
wrestling, and I watch wrestling a lot, and I don't want to be at a show and watch shitty wrestling. So if I see an opportunity, I'm going to take it. But at the end of the day, when people are so stressed out about their wrestling matches, I'm like, guys, it's just a wrestling match, and that's what it's just a doggone wrestling match is what I was told when I was a freshman, and I use that same line to this day. It's like if it goes out and it just wasn't what you pictured in your head, dude, you're gonna wrestle next week. You'll wrestle tomorrow.
yeah,
You'll wrestle some other time. This is not your last one. And if it is your last one, fine. You don't just forget forget that happened. Go to the one before. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's just a wrestling match. There's gonna be another one. And no one truly retires in pro wrestling. So
Yeah.
Todd
Yeah.
Sexton, Todd's retired like 4 times. It's fine.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing. It's like rock bands like Kiss and stuff that like, yeah, this is our final retirement. We're never coming back.
How
But
many times has Bret Michaels come back for Poison? Jesus.
yeah.
And this is my
Yeah.
favorite band of all time. That's why I make the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, you come out to I Want Action, right?
Yes, I Want Action by Poison. It was always my favorite as a kid because
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like running around the house going, "I want action," and then my mom and dad would chime in when I was younger. I was 3, 4 years old. It's like a super young memory, and I remember they would like finish the Satisfaction, all right, and I was like, "Oh yeah." So, and I came out to Look What the Cat Dragged In, which is what my dad came out to when he was a wrestler, and then I came out to Unskinny Bop as a white meat baby face, and then now I come out to I Want Action for the past 2 years.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
goes well with the whole package, honestly. And yeah, and like definitely have like that late 80s, early 90s vibe too of especially
Yeah,
now in
it's
heel
golden
mode for
age.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I was born in the wrong era, but I say that, and then I go look in the mirror and I go, "I'm not Lex Luger." Okay, maybe I wasn't born in the wrong era. um, I'm like I scraped 6 foot tall, and ooh, I think the '80s would have hated me when it comes to wrestling. I'd be the greatest job guy ever.
Yeah, but it's
And then
cool that you can kind of like bring that old school energy a little bit, because I think a lot of people do appreciate, not so much just the style, but like the personas, of that era, very flamboyant, stuff like that.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm
larger
not
than
a
life for sure.
yeah, and it's one of those cases too where when and maybe we'll get into how the Hollywood thing came along because it's an NWA story. Um, it all started there. I didn't know, like I always did flashy trunks or tights, and I always did, I was very big. I'm do white boots because Sting always looked good in white boots and neon colors, and I'm a Rick Rude fan, and Mr. Perfect wore white boots. Rick Rude had the tall boots, so I'm mixing and matching so many different ideas. But I don't know, it just never interests me sometimes. And I'm not saying the style is wrong. I'm not saying that it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not gonna do it. I am really freaking athletic. I can do every flip that anybody can do, but I'm not gonna do 107 super kicks and cutters and flips and flops and all this is what I'd rather make them important, and I'd rather
Yeah.
save them, and because I want to wrestle in 25 years.
Yeah.
I want to,
Fair
Randy
enough.
Orton. Randy Orton, like he doesn't do anything crazy. CM Punk didn't do much crazy stuff. Like these modern guys that adapted that style and came from that style directly, they're still wrestling at a high level. So
Mhm.
obviously, hey, why not copy the people that are making the money instead of the ones that are making a couple $100 on the indies? I'm gonna
Mhm.
copy the people that make millions because that's what I want to do. I want to wrestle in front of thousands of people every night, not thousands on the weekend. I want it every night. Give me it every night.
Yeah. Taking bumps that matter too, not just to take
Yeah.
them, and just having that longevity, because that it's huge. It is. And yeah, I was gonna say we can hop into the NWA because yeah, I remember watching you on NWA Power when you teamed with Adrian Thomas, I believe, took out the kids.
Yes, before the kids were the kids. That was fun, especially since I'm a good friend with Alexander Lev. I helped, had a small part in his wrestling upbringing. When he first started, he came around the Landmark Arena. I was a staple at that point at the Landmark Arena. I kind of did almost every show. I was kind of the guy, so to speak, when it came to, oh, what show's running? It doesn't matter. Hunter's going to be there. Um, we can
No.
go boo the hell out of him. But I had a small part in that, and Lev is become a good friend of mine. So it was cool that we got to ride down together with another one of our trainers. All three of us in a car just having fun, and we left one show. We left Southern Honor and came straight to NWA. Funny enough, and so we get down there, and the Hollywood Hunter James thing actually didn't come from that NWA loop. It came from a year previous when
Previous.
I did. Yeah, so I was at the Crockett Cup in 2023. No, 2022. 2022. We did. I was at Crockett Cup, and they brought me in. I did a dark match. I did an 8-man tag, and I come to the back after, and Austin Idol was extremely impressed with me. Asked me could I talk on a microphone, and was like, "Oh, we could do this, that, and he's pitching stuff to me, and he goes, "How do you feel about changing your name?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Sure, but
Yeah.
like, what do you got in mind?" I was like, "Because if I'm gonna change my name, because Hunter James is my name. It's like it's on my license. It's on my
Yeah.
birth
Yeah.
certificate." I'm like,
Mhm.
so there's a reason I kept that because I knew I could remember it. Like if somebody could cross across the hallway and yells Hunter, then I'm gonna look. But if I change my name to Brian and somebody goes,
Yeah.
"Hey, Brian," I ain't answering that. I'm like, my fucking name's Hunter.
Uh,
I'm not. And he looks at me and goes, "What about gorgeous Georgie Graham?" And I was like, and before I
come on.
and before I could say fuck no, a Judas, as he's called in NWA, Judas for the southern crowds, if you will. He picks me up on his shoulder, looks and says, "That's fucking stupid," and walks away with me on his shoulder. And I'm like, huh? And so then he puts me down. It takes a couple steps, puts me down, and we went to catering, and we went and sat somewhere, and I was like, why wouldn't he call me like Handsome Hunter James or Hollywood Hunter James? And I was like, there it is. And I'm a
Yeah.
huge Hollywood Blondes fan. Austin and Pillman, I'm so huge on them. And then I'm like, I'm blonde, Hollywood Blondes. I could totally rock this. And then it wasn't until probably about 6 months ago when I really figured out what my version of Hollywood is because they're so generic, and
Yeah.
that I found out that I typically get compared to reality TV.
Mhm.
The glitz, the glamour of that, but I also say some pretty controversial stuff when I wrestle. A promo, I usually take one good jab. I don't take 100 of them because I don't want to get the good one lost in there.
Yeah.
I make sure there's one good one. Like I'm going to wrestle Tyler Shoup this weekend at Savannah, Georgia for Coastal Empire, and he was a Penn State football player. And so it's fantastic. I originally signed to Chapel Hill, UNC Tar Heels for wrestling. And the only difference was I started professional wrestling before I signed to college.
Yeah.
He was a Penn State football player, then decided to come to pro wrestling. So one of my main goal of that promo was to say, you were a great football player in college, but obviously you couldn't fulfill your dream as an NFL superstar, so you had to come to my world.
Yeah.
And I've been
Yeah.
doing this longer than you've ever known pro wrestling.
Yeah. That's awesome. And you're saying like, having that jab and like just like in ring, like making them count and not just loading up with all this stuff and getting, the meat lost, and but did you ever like any instances or like even just seeing others where like you're cutting promos and people actually get like wrestlers like after just like, well, you didn't have to say that, man. Like does that like actually ever happen where there's like it's a little too far?
I think I had one that not that he was like, "Oh, I wish you wouldn't have said that." I had one that maybe he was like, "I thought you were going down a different route." I like a lot. Like one thing I try to keep out is family because obviously,
Yeah.
families unless it is something where it's like I please tell people. I tell people all the time, "Hey guys, we know what pro wrestling is.
Yeah.
We know
Yeah.
that there's a writer, and I'm not gonna say it's fake because at 21 and have been in the ring for 21 years because I was damn near born in one. I've got some nagging injuries now.
Mhm.
I thank God that my dad taught me how to take care of my body, and I have other people that's always been around to help me take care of my body. Um, but I say, guys, we're play fighting in our underwear, wrestling for a belt with no
Yeah.
pant loops on.
Yeah.
I've never wore
Yeah.
pant loops on my trunks, but I'm wrestling for a belt. Nonetheless, you can say whatever you want about me. I'm not going to get offended. It's really hard to offend me, but I know some people do. I leave family out of it. Everything else, if it's online on social media, it's fair game to me because if you can tell people you don't know, then obviously you should be okay with somebody that you do know, or even if you don't know me, you have enough trust in me to put your body on the line in the ring with me that I can say something like the NFL thing, because at the end of the day, it's not wrong. I may
Yeah.
have stretched that truth out, but you didn't go to the NFL. So yes, I'm assuming
Yeah.
that you weren't good enough. Maybe it was his choice. I don't know. But regardless, we're fine, guys. A lot of
Yeah.
times, it's people going, "Oh, I wish you would have said it like this." I'm like, "Oh, damn, I didn't even think about that." Hey, let's take that back. Rolling, and lights, camera, action. Let's try that again.
Yeah. So with so you've been in a lot of different locker rooms. Like I know you did NWA Dark too. I know Cole Carter was one of your matches.
Yep.
And that was definitely a vibe. NWA Dark. I was like,
AEW Dark.
that's what I meant. Sorry, AEW. I'm combining both companies. But yeah, AEW Dark. But yeah, how's like the backstage compared between AEW to NWA to WWE? Like, where are all the vibes like in comparison to each other? I know WWE is probably more business like, I'm sure, but
You would, I like the WWE the most though,
um,
because it was structured. Like
Yeah.
you almost couldn't fuck up. Like, unless you just decided, you know what, I'm not going to listen to the set rules that are given at the front of the building, like, or on paperwork that was given to you. Like, I appreciated it. Plus, I don't look bad in a suit, so I got to pull out a suit, and I don't get to wear it often. And I'm not just going to wear it to wear it, because I mean, you can show up to an indie show wearing a suit, but it's almost kind of weird.
yeah,
Because then at that point, sometimes you're wrestling in a barn or some shit, and then you gotta go, where am I hanging up my suit, my nice suit?
yeah,
Please tell me we're in a barn. Let's not get cow shit on it.
yeah,
All right, back in the car it is. Let's go back in the car. NWA, um, NWA was very fun. You could tell everyone it's almost NWA, like in a way, almost reminded me of the Indies with how guys were not Indies as in Indie-rific or low budget, anything like that, obviously. I'm talking about just the more morale. They're having fun. It's they're joking, they're having fun, telling stories. WWE is very business-esque, but they're not even talking about wrestling per se. They're talking about personal stuff. Like I had a conversation with Dolph Ziggler about hair bands because I'm a huge hairband guy. So talking to him about Motley Crue and Poison, Guns N' Roses, you go to LA Guns is another one of my favorites. Just going down that list and talking to you may get to like talk to like a Seth Rollins and he tells you a cool story. Because that's his personality is wrestling.
yeah,
Ziggler has a rock and roll personality. You find those little things. The Viking Raiders, they like talking about a little bit of everything: football, wrestling, music. Fun fact: Ivar's favorite wrestler is Mr. Perfect, which is one of my favorite wrestlers. So we had a cool. You would never thought that big son of a bitch that gave me the world's strongest slam
yeah,
off a second ropes favorite wrestler is Mr. Perfect. And then AEW is almost a mix of both. Like I feel like it's very much so. WWE is, they're very business, but it's almost like it's work friendly. It's almost like when you go to your job, you have your work friends.
yeah,
NWA is indie in a case of we're a wrestling family. And we all know WWE is a family too because they work together so well, but just vibes wise. And then AEW kind of comes in the middle. They maybe lean towards more of the NWA when it comes to more of the laughing and more almost like family barbecue than, a workplace. TNA was more workplace than I think WWE was realistically.
yeah,
Like TNA, that was another one I did, and they seemed a little. And maybe it's because I didn't know anybody or didn't like. Because sometimes when you do these, you get lucky enough to do them with people you know. Like when I did WWE, I knew like the other extras. I knew some of them because they're local guys.
yeah,
AEW, I knew Bryce Cannon and some of the Nightmare Factory guys because they're Georgia guys that did, they're Georgia workers. They're going to Florida to have fun for AEW Dark. And then NWA, I had my buddy Alexander left. And I knew some of the guys up there, like Judias and Sauronaro, Salapal, whatever you want to call them, and whatnot. But TNA, I truly nobody there that I knew. Actually, Bryce was there, but Bryce was doing stuff like Bryce was there from that day. I actually got called the day before and was like, "Hey, why don't you come down?" I was like, "Okay." I didn't get a time. I didn't get anything other than to show up. So I was like, WWE says 1 o'clock. So I always go by that.
Yeah.
Which is the earliest time. Like NWA was like 2, I think AEW was 3. So I was like, all right, 1 o'clock. So I get to Atlanta at 1 o'clock, and if you know Atlanta, Georgia, getting there at 1 o'clock, not only did you just get out of traffic, second of all, you got to find the damn place
Yeah.
Yeah.
and find
Yeah.
parking
Yeah.
and everything else. And
Yeah.
I was like, I went in a circle around center stage for probably 45 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, they're not gonna hire me because I can't fucking find a parking spot.
Yeah, I've been through that at center stage so many times. It's because I going to whether it's a TNA show, MLW show there,
Right.
GCW, like
Yeah.
their small little parking garage fits like 100 cars, and then after that, it's just like, all right, let's find one. And if you the center stage area too, like if you don't know that area and you don't like just do a circle and you go straight, you just end up back on the highway, which I did a
Yeah.
couple times. The first 2 times
Yes.
I went there.
Yes. And you know, I was in my suit because I am sitting there going, I'm going to get this job. Like anytime I do it, like
Yeah.
my goal, I'm like, I'm walking out with those papers because damn it, the moment I sign them, I've got phone calls to make. I've got a couple fuck yous to send to some people.
Yeah.
I got a couple I love yous, and I got a couple I owe yous. So those are, you know, I got the 3 yous. I got a fuck you, love you, and I owe you. I've already promised some WrestleMania tickets to some people, so I got to fulfill on that, or I feel like a liar.
Or or you can be like, I don't know you, and that could be your 4th.
Well, that's most of the world, anyways, that come up to me. Oh my God, you're Hunter James, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I had somebody in Nashville. I was wrestling in Nashville, and somebody actually came up to me and was like, dude, do you remember me? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. They're like, dude, I saw you wrestle in Vegas. And I'm all like, appreciate it, bro. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what.
Yeah.
I
I
was
know the
like,
amount of like fans you probably meet through all the different companies and shows. Like, yeah, it'd be pretty impossible unless they stood out in an insane way.
I think I remember less than 20 fans, and one of them I dated for 6 months, 6, 7 months, and it was purely off an ego that I looked at my manager and said, Tristan, my manager's Tristan Michaels. I don't know if y'all have ever seen me with him. Um, I looked at him one night at Southern Friday and I said, there's this cute blonde in the front row. And I was like, I'm going to take her out tonight. I feel like going out. And he's like, I bet you won't. And I went up to her. Actually, I said tomorrow because I ended up changing my mind because in the middle of the match, I was like, you know what? Let's do tomorrow. I'm blue from, Techi Makuji's mist that he just sprayed like Muda. I'm blue. And I was like, maybe I change it tomorrow so I can get all this blue off me. I was like,
Yeah.
whatever. So I walk over there and said, what are you doing tomorrow? And she goes, what are we doing tonight? And that's all she wrote. But other than that, like, I don't remember a lot of fans, unless you have a Hunter James shirt on, then you're my best friend in this whole world. If you buy a T-shirt, you bought a friend, essentially.
Yeah.
There you
So yeah, that's
So
fun.
so would you say it's as far as dating fans, a good idea, a bad idea, or just feel it out in the middle?
Well, she wasn't a wrestling fan. She came with
Okay. That's better
so
probably.
yes,
She was a
the
Hunter fan.
She was a Hunter James fan. She was a Hunter James fan, and probably still is. The fact that she wasn't a wrestling fan, it was her first show ever. She went with her best friend that was a wrestling fan. So like I remember the first time she was like, "Hey, come meet my friend that brought me to the show." She wanted to nonstop talk about wrestling, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, "This she doesn't know what she's talking about." But I'm just gonna let her have her
Uh,
moment. I'm gonna let her have her moment, whatever. And we got in the car, and she's like, "I have no idea what y'all were talking about." I said, "I don't even know what she was talking about because it wasn't correct."
go.
Like I was like, no, Shawn Michaels beat Bret Hart in the Iron Man match. I don't know what she's talking about. That's like it's like I know that. It's one of my favorite matches of all time. And it sure as hell was in Anaheim. It was in Anaheim, California, WrestleMania 12. Like I know this shit. She was
Yeah.
I don't remember what WrestleMania she said it was, what city she said it was, and Bret went over somehow. I don't know. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, your facts are all right. You know what? At this point it was for the women's title too while we're lying. But yeah, it's not that not like it was a bad experience by any stretch of the imagination, dating wrestling, a fan, but she wasn't a wrestling fan, so it's almost different. It was almost like
Yeah.
if you randomly went to a bar, you may not go to the bar every night, but it just happened that the stars aligned that one time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah. I was gonna say it's a risk sometimes wearing a wrestling shirt in public because you'll get those people who think they know what they're talking about. I had a I had an experience the other week. I was wearing a wrestling shirt out, and this guy was talking to me. He's like, "Yeah, you heard John Cena's coming back?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I heard about that." And I was like, "He's like, yeah, he's gonna be main eventing every single show." And I was like, "I don't think that's true, but." I was like, "I'll let you
Yeah,
have it, though." I was like,
Wishful thinking, man. Wishful thinking, buddy.
"Yeah."
yeah,
I don't know about every single show. I'm like, but
yeah. They'll
I'll
have
let him
some
have
fun
their
matches.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll have some fun matches with him for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
he won't be main eventing WrestleMania,
I'm just
unfortunately
hoping.
or fortunately.
Mhm.
I see. My whole thing is, I just want Cody to drop the belt to Randy. Randy drops it to Cena, then gives it back to Randy. So Randy
Mhm.
gets 16 time with Flair. Cena
Mhm.
beats Flair, and you know what? Then you drop the
Yeah.
belt back. Then drop it back to Cody. I don't care.
Mhm.
At that point,
Yeah,
I just want Cena to get the recognition he deserves for carrying the
Yeah.
company for
Yeah.
so long.
Mhm.
And
yeah,
Ric Flair's old, retired, and I'm a Ric Flair fan. But come on, records are meant to be broken, and
Yeah.
give Randy the
yeah,
recognition that he worked with Flair for so long. So
Mhm.
that just bingo's my I guess bingo card.
Mhm.
I fucked up my own saying there.
Yeah.
Um,
Throw
but
him an
yeah,
intercontinental title too. Get him
yeah,
that grand slam.
yeah. He
good
does
That's
need
point.
about it.
Good
that,
point.
Yeah.
and
I always, I
but
always forget about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to see that because like I don't know, wrestling now, a lot of the big companies are in this mode where like, all right, we need champions for like a very long amount of time, like almost close to at least a year and it's, definitely like the current era of long champions. And like, I kind of liked, you know, attitude era, even ruthless aggression era.
Yeah,
And
blood and
before
bile.
that, yeah, where you'd have no idea. It could be a Monday Night Raw where you just think, oh yeah, it's gonna end in a DQ or something. So they don't, so both guys kind of go over and stuff. But then like, someone win the title and be like, oh, holy shit. Like, and pay-per-views that weren't the main four, it'd be like, all right. And then someone else would win the title. And that's why
I
a lot of those guys, like now it's hard for them to ever get close to Ric Flair's record because if they become champ, they'll, can be champ for a year and a half, or even longer. So it's,
I agree, and I also think that when it comes to and wrestling fans are weird. Like I love wrestling fans because if it wasn't for wrestling fans, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. But at the
Mhm.
same time, I hate talking to them because they like he was talking about they assume everything or they think they
Mhm.
know everything, but they
yeah,
talk about hating. They either love the long term booking of champions or hate the flip flop. But then
Mhm.
going back on the opposite, like the long term fans uh, love that Jey Uso won the Intercontinental title after Braun only had it for a month and a half. But then the short term fans were like, "What the fuck? Braun didn't even have it that long." And I was like, "Well, pick a side, peoples. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
or
yeah,
don't have a side at all and shut up and let Triple H cook here.
Mhm.
Like he's in
yeah,
the kitchen. Like him and Sean are cooking right now. Do you smell what DX is cooking? Let them do what they do.
absolutely. And yeah, I mean, that's just like so many things, and I think sometimes it'll be like tribalism within wrestling too, where they're just like, the other company is doing that, so if we do that,
Yes.
like I hate it. I said I hated it when they did it, so I can't be like a hypocrite or something. It's just like, dude, like if if the story, if it makes sense with the story, and there's step one, two, chapter one, two, and three is ready, and there's a reason for it, like it's great. And also it's always, and sometimes you'll just have transitional champs, which I kind of enjoy those too, because those are always kind of usually crowd favorites and a
Right.
huge pop, and it's just kind of like, all right, that's awesome, and let them do a little run for a month, and then can have them lose to whoever, and then because we don't, we don't want to not put him over like the other talent. We want to build
Mhm.
to a bigger storyline, with like a more main card event type guy. They just did that in WWE with the tag titles with DIY not too long
Mhm.
ago, which I thought was
Right.
cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and same with like Samoa Joe. They've been doing that with him with the AEW title. They did that, and with the TNT too. It's like you just give it to a veteran, puts on a couple just great matches, and then drops it to another guy.
Yeah,
That's
Doesn't
fair.
overstay his welcome. Yeah.
And it's one of those cases too where sometimes like I don't have a company that I favor.
Mhm.
I tend to watch more WWE, but I'm not gonna favor them per se. I
Yeah.
like wrestlers more than the company themselves.
Mhm.
Like my favorite tag team is FTR,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I love watching their tag matches. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna watch tag team wrestling in WWE.
Mhm.
I'm not going to uh, enjoy a WWE PLE. Or just because I favor WWE more, like I tend to like their storylines more than
Mhm.
AEW's. It doesn't mean that I can't appreciate a good story in
Mhm.
AEW.
Yeah.
Like I thought until I thought the Adam Cole MJF storyline was fun up to a certain extent when it
Mhm.
was like who started attacking who's the devil,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Once that happened, I was just like, okay,
Yeah. It was
why do
convoluted.
we got to draw? We
Yeah.
all know it's Adam Cole.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
calm
Yeah.
down. I was like, that was a little too drawn out for me.
Mhm.
But as someone who loves to watch wrestling, and I just, I'd rather just have wrestlers to watch than wrestling shows to
Yeah.
watch, more or less.
Yeah.
That way, it's
Mhm.
not favorite. Like, I'm an EC3 fan. I don't
Mhm.
care what company he's in. I was always an EC3 fan, even though NWA is not my favorite type of wrestling.
Mhm.
Um, you know, it's not, most of their have their style that they work,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's not my style, but doesn't mean I don't appreciate EC3
Yeah.
or Knox and Murdoch. Like I think they're great too. And I can appreciate FTR and I can go to
Mhm.
WWE and appreciate DIY. I appreciate. I'm a huge Tommaso
Mhm.
Ciampa fan.
Yeah.
I'd rather just like wrestlers than wrestling
Yeah.
shows. And fuck the
Yeah.
tribalism. If I'm just gonna be a
Mhm.
tribalism, then I'm gonna pick my wrestlers. A
Yeah.
controversial one, you either love me, hate him. It's CM Punk. And
Mhm.
this weekend we did a show for what happened at Appalachian High School as me being a alumni for Appalachia. A little girl brings me a CM Punk style bracelet.
Mhm.
So apparently I'll have a feud over a bracelet shortly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hell
that's
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah.
that's the great thing about independence. It's the same way. It's like you latch on to the wrestlers you see at those shows, and you just follow them rather than the promotion. And doing that, you get introduced to more and more different wrestlers, and keep following more people.
One
Yeah.
thousand
Yeah,
percent.
yeah.
And I was
I
in like
mean,
I
no, you're
Go
good.
ahead.
You got it.
no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean, everyone like when they talk about wrestling, they always make the easy comparison to like films, TV, and stuff like that, TV shows. But I've
Mm-hmm.
always like seen the comparison like of wrestling with music a lot, and it's because you're following a wrestler who's like a band or just a
Mhm.
musical act, and they're going in there. Sometimes they're main eventing the show. Sometimes they're warm up act, and
Mhm.
they're gonna get their hit songs in. They're gonna get their shit in,
Yeah.
and you're excited to see them, and then they're gonna try some new ones. Like
Mhm.
sometimes when you see go to a show and a band plays a new song, like oh that's awesome, or it's just like
Yeah.
I'm
Or
not sure, but
even
Well,
like
and you
sometimes
can
you see an opener, sorry, like an opener for like the band you want to see, and you latch onto the opening band. Kind of like if
yeah,
you want to go
absolutely,
see, you're going to see a show for a specific like main eventer guy, and you see another guy on the show, you follow them. You can introduce like so many guys just by following other people.
yeah,
right,
Yeah,
and I
go ahead.
also
Yeah.
think you can even take it a step further. And if somebody
Hmm.
leaves the band and goes to another band,
Hmm.
and that's
Yeah.
leaving a company and going to another company.
Yeah.
yeah,
Or and then sometimes you get those cool super shows. I went to Brett Michaels Party Grog a couple months back,
Hmm.
and they had D. Snyder from Twisted Sister. They had Foreigner. They had Foreigner. They had Chris Jansen. Brett Michaels was there, and he didn't. He let everybody shine.
Yeah.
And of course, we hear Poison's greatest hits, but we also hear from Foreigner. We also hear from the Eagles. We always hear, Twisted Sister, Chris Jansen. Chris Jansen did a couple covers, which was cool. Like, we got to hear all the greatest hits, and it was fun to
yeah,
hear that stuff. But at the same rate, if you're a Twisted Sister fan, you came to see D. Snyder, and it just so happened that the other four was there. And if you had a good time, then it's a win.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll get that with music fans too, where it's like I don't know, some of the old heads, or even just like people in our age group, where it's just like, oh, I don't want to see them. They have a new singer, or they have a new guitarist that I liked, or and it's just like, well, it's but then it's different for sure, but like you're not going to give it a chance because like I saw and I was kind of like that sometime a little bit myself with Stone Temple Pilots because I was a huge love Scott Weiland and I
Right.
saw him when Chester joined and stuff, and that was cool. And then but then their new singer they had, I was just like, I don't really know. I haven't really checked him stuff out, like checked it out, and saw him over the summer, and I was just like, wow, I should have given him a chance earlier. He's fucking great, you know, and he doesn't
Yeah.
have that same pedigree as like Chester or someone else to replace. But yeah, it was definitely cool, and yeah, and it's I mean, and bands are like a lot of bands now, especially like older ones. It's like Leonard Skinner. Like I don't think they have one original member, maybe one now, and it's a brand at this point too.
Yes.
Just like so it's like, and they pick the best people to continue that brand and perform their music and represent their brand in a great way. And if you're a Skinner fan and like you're gonna enjoy it, like yeah, of course it's not Van Zandt. We lost like 45 years ago or anything, but it's, the best possible band that could reproduce what you want to see and listen to. So it's, yeah.
Right, and even with going back because I know my Poison. Poison's my favorite band of all time. When CC DeVille left, they came out with this great album, and it's a great album, but it's underappreciated because it's not CC on the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so Native Tongue doesn't get the love it should, but it's also a case of just give shit a chance. If you don't like it,
Yeah.
don't like it. Deathmatch wrestling is not my thing. I like the swerve and hangman stuff that some people are like, oh my god, this is so gruesome and awesome. By the way, I love horror movies and I love some gory shit. Not my
No.
wrestling. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to.
Fair enough. Yeah.
If you liked Swerve drinking the blood or whatever the hell or vice versa, I don't remember who did what. I didn't watch it to be honest with you. It's not my cup of tea, but okay, that's not mine. But guess what? I'm excited to go watch Terrifier 3. I don't know, like
Yeah.
it's
Right on.
Yeah.
it's a movie, not it's a movie that's 100% fake. Wrestling is not. That's our body.
Yeah. That's because
Yeah.
you're a big. It's the Jericho. He's in that movie, right? The Terrifier. He's like the
Oh
only
my god,
character still alive.
you know what? And as a huge Chris Jericho fan, and I mean, I've stolen a lot of my mannerisms from Chris Jericho, especially early Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what his role is, damn it. For
Yeah.
I hope he gets the coolest death in the movie. And if he
Yeah.
doesn't die,
Yeah.
damn man, they finally let a blonde survive a horror movie.
he was a jump scare in the trailer when I saw it in theaters, like the trailer play. I was like, what's Chris
Ooh.
Jericho doing here? And I was like, came out of nowhere, dude.
I know
The
my
guy told
manager.
rock and roll.
Yeah.
Dude, my manager has blown up my phone. He's like, "Hey, they're doing a special preview. They're
Mhm.
doing Terrifier 1, 2, and 3 back to back, all in one movie
Ooh, yeah.
theater, and
Yeah.
it's the day before it comes out. It's
Mhm.
a Thursday,
Mhm.
the 10th or whatever that is. And he's like, "Do you want to go do it?" I was like, "Jesus Christ, I want a day off." I was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
because,
lot.
and I was like, "That's a lot of movies at once." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Can you get me to sit down that long?
Yeah.
I'm a caffeine fiend."
Mhm.
Like I don't like I poured an energy drink. Y'all watched me pour an energy drink
Yeah.
right before we went on here. And I'm almost
Mhm.
gone.
Mhm.
So it's just how it is. And I'm like, okay, it's not staying up, it's staying still. And not
Yeah.
making my mind think about other shit. But I
Mhm.
was like, okay, fine, we'll do it. I was like, as much as you have done for me, I can sit there and watch. I'm like, I want to watch 3, but I'm like, I've already watched 1 and 2. But I was like,
Yeah.
he goes,
Yeah.
it'll be a great refresher. And I'm like,
Yeah, you
damn
got
you,
to tell
Tristan.
them, all right, well, you're going to have to watch All Hallows Eve, the first fucking introduction of Art the Clown. It's like the little skit where he's
Oh
like in
Jesus
a,
Christ!
yeah.
Would you shut the fuck up? Don't tell him. I'll have to sit there longer. And I love my manager to death. Like he is absolutely 100% my best friend in this world, and I will do anything for him. Note why I'm gonna go watch fucking 3 Terrifier movies. Not that I don't, not that I
Yeah.
didn't enjoy the first 2. I thought they were great. And then going, but watching all 3, I'm like, bing, bing, bing. This is like, if we were at home, I wouldn't have said a fucking word. I can go,
Mhm.
goddamn, make my own
Yeah.
popcorn. I can
Mhm.
go tell
Yeah.
the chick I'm hanging out with that week the flavor of the month to go do
Mhm.
this. I can tell that, that I have my dog next to me. I can have my best friend, my cousin, whatever. And, but no, I got to sit in the movie theater and I'm like, I got to pay for the popcorn.
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah.
hope that the damn drink dispenser is not one where I gotta please give me this, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, $2, and I'm like, hey, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm gonna be coming in. I swear to God, I'm gonna like, all right, I need to register my 4-month-old puppy to be a emotional support
Yeah.
animal so he can come watch with me, and then. I need a fanny pack that'll like hide all my shit but not look bloated as fuck.
Yeah.
Walking in there trying to stash all my
Fucking yeah.
caffeine.
Yeah, I think some of like the I don't know. I've tried to. I've just been on this journey this couple of years of trying to see every single promotion in this country and all different genres. And like I would say, like the horror type stuff of like deathmatch wrestling.
Right.
I would say even scarier than that is being at like at any show in Georgia, whether it's Southern Honor Wrestling or even I was at MLW a couple weekends ago, and like Cruel
Right.
coming out. Like Cruel like he's doing a great job as far as like he's
A different
basically the
approach to horror elements,
he's the
Yes.
Jason Voorhees to Kane's Mike Myers for sure. And
I enjoy
there's
him. I do
yeah
enjoy him.
yeah, and you wrestled him for the IWTV title too, I
Yep.
believe, right?
I
Yeah, I think
wrestled
I
him.
was.
I wrestled him 3 or 4 times. Yeah. So it's been
Yeah,
fun. Obviously, I have to be really creative when I wrestle him.
yeah, I'm sure you
Uh,
have to with the big guys, and
he
yeah,
he's the only person that not many people has kicked out of the brain buster, but he's the only person that truly just stood up after it. And I was about to say,
yeah,
damn, I have been told I have a damn good brain buster. Um,
yeah,
so I've done it to Judas and Judas, whatever you want to call him, the dreadhead. Well, I
yeah,
guess he's not dreadhead anymore; he's bald. Weird thing. Seeing him bald, it's like James Mitchell but bigger.
yeah.
Uh, Doing it to people like Judas, and I've done it to the Jacob Ashworths. I've done it to a couple other big guys. But when you do it to Cruel, and you're like, you get that adrenaline rush. Like when I hit it, I feel like Bubba Ray Dudley putting somebody through a table. Like I get that like just look in my eyes sometimes. It's like I finally fucking got it. And I look over and he sits up like the Undertaker, and I'm like, I'm just gonna quit this shit. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
If my own fucking move doesn't work, I quit. Like I worked 25 minutes for that brain buster. Okay,
Yeah, and it's a
I
beautiful
quit.
brain buster at that.
I
Honestly,
appreciate it.
it's pristine, I have to say, and like that's I don't know a big thing. Like I your ring work is great, even at like Disruptor. Like that was everything was so on point in that match, and just from point A to point B of just coming out for because like people that some people in the crowd that like you can tell it's their first time even going to a wrestling show, or they're just kind of first time going to Disruptor, and like yeah, your entrance like garnered the most like, oh wow, he's got like the dog, he's bringing the dog out, and like it was just great, and you just hand it to a chick in the front row, and
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know who that. I
hop in
didn't
and
know
do
who
your
that.
thing.
Not a clue who that chick
Yeah, I was
was.
gonna
I mean,
ask. I was just like, yeah, because I was like, they didn't seem like they were
He
like
wasn't a plant.
hip to the show. Yeah, it
no.
didn't seem like a plant because yeah, I was over by Zicky Dice's like I was sipping a beer by Zicky Dice's merch table to like watch that walkout, and yeah, I saw you hand it to her, and she was just like, yeah, I'll take it. And I was just like, yeah, I don't think he just chose like someone he can trust his dog with, I think.
No, well, mainly because I know so many people at that show, not like in the crowd, but like a lot of the people, there's some wrestlers that do some behind the scenes stuff there. Just having their hands in the pots. I know I'm really good friends with Marcus Adams. He's there. His wife runs the music. Well, not wife yet, wife this weekend, which I've kissed Marcus Adams' hot ass wife at one point. So that's a fun little tidbit. That's a fun joke. I can tell that. I'd love to tell you that story. But like, so I know my dog's not going anywhere. But no, that's
Yeah,
kind of my thing is that I just find hot chicks and find something to do. Like whether it's hand them, CC is my dog's name from CC DeVille from Poison. Uh, if you don't know who that is, guys, look it up. Figure it out. It's not hard.
Oh, we know, we know.
Yeah, I know
yeah,
you all know, but I'm just saying whoever's watching this.
True,
yeah,
true.
And then if you need a real in-depth, CC stands for Chris Candido. No gimmicks needed. The old suicide blonde, if you will.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't know the chick, and then I was like, if I hand her a puppy, I wonder if she'll give me a kiss before my match, and like I was like, okay, and so I just leaned down and just did one of these, and she does it, and I'm like, oh. And I used to do it all the time with my ex-girlfriend where I'd like middle of the match, I'd be like, hey, give me a kiss. And I'd like fucking fire up. And like
Yeah.
I'd find this burst of energy because anybody that's ever had that electrifying kiss knows you're like, I'm the fucking man. Like you get that
Yeah.
fucking kiss, you're like, motherfucker, let's roll. Like I feel like the Macho Man Elizabeth over here. Ooh yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking ready. And um so I kind of, sometimes it's cartoony, but it's real. Like I remember, I remember vividly the feeling of a first kiss with somebody I ended up falling in love for. I vividly remember the electricity in the air because it was 20 degrees in a fucking park, but I felt warm in my body.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember that feeling. So it's a feeling that we've all conveyed before, and I can bring that into wrestling. So now a lot of times I will find a random chick in the crowd, and that's my target. Whether it's I go out and hang out with them after is not even the question. It's can I get her to be sympathetic to me, or think I'm cool enough, or whatever the case is. And can I make? Because if I can making women feel something in wrestling is so much harder than making the guys feel.
Yeah.
I mean, because women look at it and go, "Oh, this is just some fake ass pro wrestling bullshit." Isn't it
Yeah.
fake? And then of course
Yeah.
my first instincts to go to Ready to Rumble. David Arquette goes, "Wrestling's not fake."
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of how whatever. But I know my audience. My audience typically goes to kids and goes to girls. There's not many girls. There's quite a bit of kids. And I would say about 50% of men. You get the big burly bastards that probably aren't fans of me. Just because I am like too cool for school and, bright colors and everything else. I literally just ordered my first pair of black wrestling gear after 4 years. I've had one pair I've had one pair before, but I wore them twice, and I was like, nah, I'm good. But I finally like designed this one up where it was cool colors and shit.
Yeah.
But no, so like you bring out the dog, and that's what I say the difference is between Hunter James as a babyface and a heel. Do I bring out a manager or do I bring out my dog? It's very rare that
Yeah.
I'm by myself 110%. Because sometimes I don't bring the dog with me, but most of the time he comes with me.
Yeah.
If it's a venue I don't know like at all, I may keep him home with the other
Yeah.
dog, with my two other dogs, but just because I don't know if he's gonna have somewhere he can settle in the locker room and call his area because he won't wander off. He'll just stay in his area. Um,
Yeah.
if you saw me walking around with him during the show, he's very calm. Especially at
Yeah.
4 months, almost 5 months old. He just walks around. If I put the leash down, he stays exactly where I am. Like, um, no matter how cartoony wrestling can get, I use some of the cartoony moments, so to speak, and try to just drag real emotion out of them because, like I said, with the kiss, everyone's had that electrifying kiss. So that's
Yeah.
why when I got kissed on the cheek, even the simplest kiss on the cheek, because first of all, I don't know how old she is, so better safe than
Yeah.
sorry on that one. But at that point, I fucking fire up, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm feeling good. Everyone's had that moment of kiss, goodnight, shut the door, you go to your fucking car, you're like, I'm the goddamn man. I'm the
Yeah.
motherfucker. And
Yeah.
this is it's real emotion. That's what I like. And I'm a
Yeah. Some
happy, I'm a
shades
hope
of HBK for
and I'm
sure.
a hope and I'm a little hopeless romantic, so I like good endings. I like good endings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, with the Southern Honor event coming up, I was bringing up your match with Kyle Matthews. I think it can be a match of the night. We had Ben Bishop on last week saying him and Cruel are going to be match of the night, and yeah. So I don't know if you had
That's
anything to
cute.
say about that. Yeah.
That's cute. I don't know. He's lucky. I think Ben Bishop's just lucky that we had to unfortunately change some stuff around in the locker room before the show, so I didn't have to take that Disruptor Party Animal Championship away from him. Because I think it would have been rightfully CC's, obviously, the party animal. I have an animal on my side. I think it just goes hand in hand. Um,
Yeah, I think he dodged a bullet because I remember I was excited to go to the show. I was like, it's a triple threat, and then I got there and like just him and Zicky Dicer. I'm like, oh, I thought this was a triple threat, but
And
yeah.
they go on before me, and I was like, oh, I bet these people think I just dipped if they like came and
Well,
saw me.
yeah, I
I was
wasn't
like,
sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was just like, oh, dude. I was like, is he off? Is it, like not being able to make the event or something? Or and then yeah, you came
he
out. I was
said,
like, oh,
fuck
that's
them
awesome.
fans, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. He just said, fuck them fans. You ain't
Said,
seeing my
fuck him.
dog.
Yeah, my dog doesn't feel like going out tonight, and yeah, it's wild. I didn't realize your dog was 4 or 5 months old. Like I mean, that's a fourth generation wrestler right there. So
Man, he's wrestling. Dude, he was wrestling the boxer pit bull that we have. And I was like, what the hell? And obviously the boxer pit's double the size, if not more. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I'm sitting over here doing commentary for it just because I'm like, I have 10 minutes to kill before I hop onto this podcast. And I'm sitting here, we are back to Monday Night Raw, and Lexi the Giant is over here. Oh, what a body slam. Well, CC obviously is not feeling the effects, and I'm just going off, just being goofy and making everybody laugh in the house.
yeah, and also yeah, we were talking a little bit earlier. Like I don't know how MLW hasn't brought you on yet because yeah, I think you would fit in there perfectly with the kind of the stuff they're doing, and like they've got a solid mix of like a lot of different companies. And I think also MLW is kind of cool. It's like this conduit of like so many different companies intertwining and going in and out, and it's like such a cool mix of like wrestling. Yeah, I think they need a Hollywood Hunter James, walking down at center stage or wherever for MLW with
I
the
mean,
pooch and
they can send that letter to the Viper Room. I'll pick it up shortly.
yeah. Yep. All right. Yeah. The Viper Rooms. Yeah. What a classic place in LA. I lived in LA for a couple of years, and the first thing I did, I went out there. I was like, I need to go pay homage, go to the Viper Room.
Yes, that was.
And
I've done the same. Very
and
cool.
like big River Phoenix fan too, and like he lost his life there too, so it's like I need to go out there and pay respects. And it's something you said earlier, which was great, and like bringing up LA Guns, like so many people, you'll talk music to them and stuff, talk about 80s, early 90s rock, and then you'll bring up LA Guns, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. I'm just like, all right, please.
I'm with you because the girl that I ended up taking out of the front row and dated for 6-8 months. So she had no clue that I was a huge rock fan, and she was like, "Oh, I'm such a rock fan." No, you're a Stained and Nickelback fan, which is fine. I love both of
Yeah,
them. I love both of them,
yeah,
but you're not a rock fan. That's two things. You
yeah,
didn't know half of Bon Jovi songs. Like my favorite Bon Jovi song is "Sleep When I'm Dead," and you had no clue what that was. And I was like, "You're not a rock fan." I figured that out. You didn't know Poison. Like you knew like three Guns N' Roses songs, the same three that everybody knows. "Welcome to the Jungle,"
yeah.
"Sweet Child of Mine," and then just the fact. Oh, hey, Cece. He decided he's gonna come join. I guess. What's up, bud?
Is it
But
great? Got a
LA Guns.
CC appearance.
Yes, yes. Oh, you are wet. You just came from the rain. Oh, okay. Um, but no, I asked her, I was like, hey, I have these LA Guns tickets. And it was right when we first got together, and I was like, it's about a month away. So I went to Italy, came back, did a couple shows out in Italy at the beginning of the year, and then come back and went straight to the LA Guns concert that weekend. And she goes, oh my God, this is awesome. And the only song she remembers is the one, of course, everybody remembers, which is Sex Action. Which I always said that was going to be that was a backup plan if I Want Action didn't work, was I was going to come out to Sex Action.
Yeah,
I love LA Guns. I'm a huge proponent for them. My navy blue wrestling gear is actually LA Guns inspired by their logo.
yeah.
It's
That's
navy
awesome.
blue, like a silver baby blue esque feel, like I guess a steel look, like their original LA Guns logo on their first album.
Yeah, I mean Tracy Guns, but the Guns and Guns and Roses, and that's
Right.
what I always explain to people. Like, yeah, there's not the GNR probably, Axel probably would have done his thing, Sam and Slash, but they would have not been what we thought they would without foundation, of early on of doing all that. And but also something you just said, like, what was that like going to an overseas show in Italy? Like, was it? I'm sure that was it kind of just like, am I gonna? Is everyone going to speak English backstage, or how's this? Did you need a translator, or like? Most
Luckily, a
people in
lot
Europe
of
speak English, right? They're mostly bilingual.
yeah, most of them are buying because English is such a big thing. Because a lot of because the United States does a lot of work outside of the United States, and we don't buy locally anymore on almost anything.
Yeah,
We buy almost everything else. But yeah, most of them spoke pretty good English, or if anything, muscle you can use you almost use dance, and you're like, oh, let me give me an arm drag or hip toss, brain buster, just doing just little things like that. Um,
yeah,
that was fun. I actually went because I was doing a work trip, like an actual my 9 to 5 job, and I was doing a work trip, and I always bring my wrestling gear no matter where I go. I have literally there. I have a whole extra pair of boots. I have spare gear. It's older gear, but it's spare gear. Like if I get a call at any time at any point in the day, I've got an old jacket, old trunks, old knee pads, and an older pair of boots that I'm like, okay, I don't have to bring these inside to my house because I don't want my Jeep get broken into or whatever. Um,
yeah,
like they're on the go, they're locked into my glove compartment. I'm ready whenever you are. Um, so I brought my stuff to Italy, and our wrestling show was on a Thursday night. I was leaving Friday. On a Thursday night, I found it, and I showed up, and I just asked him, I said, hey, I am a wrestler. I'm a wrestler from America. My name's Hollywood Hunter James. Do you have anything I can do? And I showed them. They're like, "Oh, show me video." And I can't do an accent, Italian
yeah,
accent. So forgive me there.
yeah. Arrivederci.
Yeah, boopity boppity. So I showed him a video. I showed him like a little 6-minute match I had with Seth Delay at Hardcore Hell last year, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, we'll find you something." I ended up wrestling like a 30-minute match in the rain. Um, it was supposed to be like a 3-match card. They were like, "Oh, go however long you want." I was like, "Okay." So I had like a 30-minute match in the rain in Bologna, Italy. And then so I just did that one show, but I got to come the next day. I flew back and then wrestled Ziggy Dice, Southern Honor, and then did LA Guns the Sunday. So it was kind of a cool thing. I was like, I became an international superstar in a matter of, you know, 5 minutes of just showing him a match with Seth Delay.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
awesome.
fun.
I'm
It
sure
was
it's something a
fun.
wrestler always wants to hear. It's like, yeah, take whatever amount of time you want to take. You know.
It was only the second time I've ever heard it.
Uh,
Because I did Coastal Empire Wrestling for the first time in February, and I got there, and I was like, "Hey, how much time? How much time do we have?" Because I was about to late. I was starting to think about how my match I wanted it to go, and he goes,
yeah,
"At least 20 minutes, no less." And I was like, "Dude, what?" I was like, "20 minutes to infinity? Like you done fucked
yeah,
up.
yeah,
You done." Because if there's one thing that everybody, especially if you've traveled with me, my cardio is fantastic. Like
yeah,
I am one that I've wrestled 90-minute matches before, and I still help my little brother with amateur wrestling. My amateur wrestling cardio is still there. Now, if you want me to go wrestle a 9-minute match for amateur wrestling, oh, but that one, pal. I don't know
yeah,
if I can do that anymore. But I've wrestled 90-minute matches, I've wrestled 60-minute Ironman matches, multiple of them. 2 out of 3 falls. That's why I say me and Kyle, these are our wheelhouses. We're both cardio machines.
yeah,
And I have this. I recently did a seminar, and it was something. It was supposed to be a cardio drill, and everybody's laid out by the end of it, and I wasn't. Um, so it's just the fact of I don't stop. Like I'll stop. Bon Jovi said it. I'll sleep when I'm dead. We got to go now.
yeah,
We got to live while I'm alive, and I'll sleep when I'm dead. I was built for action. I got everything you need. Keep the motor running, baby. I was built for speed. So let's roll.
yeah. That's I mean, that's I feel like this is such a huge advantage because like you'll even see like in not in WWE and AEW sometimes you'll see superstars like at gas, on live
If they get blown
TV,
up.
and they're maybe 10-12 minute match and you're just kind of like, damn, it's like maybe they're just taking it for granted sometimes being at that level where they're just not keeping their cardio up and they're just pumping for
Well,
muscles or
you know what? I think y'all are gonna learn a new thing, a new found respect for this because I didn't know it either. So I did an Anthony Henry seminar this past weekend, and I thought it was a great opportunity just because I'm a fan of his work, and
yeah,
I was like, okay, and we held it at Southern Fried, um, and he says that people don't realize, but you're actually a lot of times they're doing a they give you 8 minutes, you're probably doing a 20-minute match, but you're cramming it into 8 minutes. So you're
Yeah.
go, 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 go. Where in the indies, we may have 20 minutes because we don't have TV time restrictions. We can go as long as we want to. And so we're taking their 8-minute match and we're stretching it to 20. While they're
Yeah.
taking our 20-minute match and crunching it into 8 because that's all the time they have. And they can't go over or it
Yeah.
ruins their whole schedule. So realistically, while we can take 5 minutes to work a hold or take 2 minutes to do a dive and just sit there and kind of sell and catch your breath, whatever the case is, they have to do it, get them back in the ring, next thing, bing, 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 bing. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, that makes sense. Cause it was like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
and he kind of broke it down to me. He watched my match I had with CT Keys, and he was like, we would have done all that and we'd probably been given like 14 minutes, and me and CT went 27, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, so I have a newfound respect for TV matches after figuring out they're cramming stuff in and still finding the time to sell, because I'm a huge
Yeah.
bump and sell guy. Like
Yeah.
if you're not selling, I don't want to watch it unless you're cruel
Yeah.
or like somebody of that vicinity that we were just talking about that it works.
Paranormal. Yeah, the paranormal
Right.
entities of the wrestling world. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I say Cruel doesn't sell, but he does. He may not bump, but he does sell. So
Yeah.
I'll correct myself.
Yeah, I feel like he sells a lot like a horror movie monster or something, where
Right.
just like you can see him each hit he slowly takes it, it's taking him down a little bit more and more, and yeah, he's got like great mannerisms on his sells and stuff, and yeah, that's why this Still Here 6 event's gonna be sick. It's super loaded right now, the match card, and yeah.
Match cards through the roof, and I have Jake the Snake in my corner, or not my corner, so to speak. I mean, it's Jake the Snake. He knows I'm a Shawn Michaels guy, whatever.
Yeah.
But you talked about Cruel selling like the Jasons and the Michael Myers. That's why I took a lot of my uh, body language from Dalton from Roadhouse. I'm a huge Roadhouse guy.
Okay.
So first of all, Terry Funk's in the movie, so it's already over with me.
Yep.
And Sam Elliott. I mean, come on now. I need a Sam Elliott in my life. I need an old man just to go just say some random shit that's just like,
Yeah.
okay. But no, like just some of the times you see in Roadhouse, just in general, like you'll see him if he throws a kick, the way the guy goes 10 foot back, and like just the way they bump or they sell it or however you want to call it in movie language. Just the action of it. And I'm not crazy about action movies. I like dramas. I like
Yeah.
comedies. I like stuff like that. Horror, which I guess horror is an action movie, so to speak. But those are action movie. A good action movie, I'll love it forever. But action's so hard to convey to me because I'm such a realistic person. Like everything you see like at me doing at a wrestling show, I probably do it in my real life. Like I am the one that goes, if I'm gonna go to a bar, I've done a flip off a bar to make the people go crazy. I feed off of people, the adrenaline and the people fucking giving me emotions, whether it's the fuck you emotion or it's the I love you emotion. I feed off that. I feed off people interaction. And my dog does come everywhere with me. And I do kiss random chicks for no damn reason. This I have this addiction to not give a fuck and
Yeah.
have the biggest balls in the room and not care if it doesn't work. So it's just one of those cases of you got to try shit and see what sticks on the wall, and that's what happens when I go against Kyle Matthews because he's kind of unpredictable. 2 out of 3 falls too.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. So obviously I'm a student of the game. I'm tape studying, but at the same rate, I know that me and Kyle it's here. So I
Yeah.
can't make a mistake. I have to capitalize on him doubting me because he's been doing this longer. And I do think he doubts me. I think it's easy to doubt Hunter James. I think it's easy to dislike me too because I'm naturally charismatic. I am not naturally athletic. I built that one up and I will take that every single time. I was not an athlete when I was a kid. It wasn't until I was probably 14 years old when I realized I had to work hard. So all this cool shit you see me do, I earned that shit. So for anybody that says I'm naturally athletic, they can go fuck themselves. But naturally charismatic, yeah, that's one I take personally, because I got some pride in that one. But naturally charismatic, I earned my athleticism. I'm a student of the game. Kyle Matthews doesn't see that. He doesn't see the work I put in behind the scenes. He doesn't see the time that I'm in the gym at 4 a.m. And probably back a lot of times I'm back at the gym at 6 o'clock at night doing something. He doesn't see everything that goes by. He thinks that he's just one of these disgruntled veterans, of course, that I've notoriously hate now. I have come to realize I hate these notorious disgruntled veterans that think that, I'm so full of myself. I think they're full of themselves. I think that they need to realize that there's a new wave of a new generation coming along, and I'm leading the fucking pack here.
Yep, the time is now, and yeah, and if he's overlooking you, it's going to be a huge mistake, man. Come still here 6, and
Yeah, and if I get a brainbuster Jake the Snake, it'll make me the happiest man alive.
dude, I'll be the one screaming like a girl in the crowd if you hit the brainbuster on Jake the Snake.
One of the
And then I
many.
want to see. I think I should
Yeah.
brainbuster Jake the Snake and then go kiss Kimberly Page.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that would be the move for sure. That'd be two finishers in a row.
Cherry
Oh,
on top.
dude,
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can make a comeback after that one. I think I retire.
Dude, you would retire on top, honestly. The title,
but it's
brainbustering him,
wrestling,
and
so it's wrestling. I'd come back the next week. It's
Yeah.
fine.
yeah,
Dude, and
exactly.
with the 60-minute matches, you can combine your name to Hollywood Hunter James goes Broadway. You can do the Hollywood and the Broadway in there, man.
Dude, that's right.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's.
Why didn't I think of this?
Hey, you can take it. That's all yours.
Oh,
Yeah.
you have all the credit in the world, Chris.
Thank you.
I give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's about the end of the show. Do you have anything else to plug as far as?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just plug the social medias and merch stuff.
Yeah.
So it's Hollywood _HJ_ on X, on Instagram, Hunter James on Facebook, TikTok. I do some fun stuff on there with the dog, more or less. That's more fun and just get a good laugh. That's she.loves.hunterj, because everyone knows she loves Hunter J. Merch, prowrestlingtees.com. Look up Hunter James in the search. I've got plenty of shirts. Buy them. Make me rich and famous, please. I promise you, I will take a picture with you if you have a Hunter James shirt on, because it's the only fans that I love. Come to Southern Honor October 11th for Still Here 6. Let's see, Coastal Empire Wrestling. Or when is this coming out?
Probably
Next couple days.
Yeah, next couple days. Yeah.
Okay, so I won't count this weekend, and I'll let you just do what you do. Anything important? Viral Pro Wrestling on October 5th. Boom, the 11th, and we'll go ahead and go. And then Southern Honor Wrestling Crossroads will be, which is one of our premier events. I will be taking on some disgruntled veteran, one of these guys that hate me, and I hate them twice as much. And October the 19th in Monroe, Georgia. Like I said, go to social medias. Stay in tune. Let's walk across Hollywood Boulevard on the Sunset Strip, end up in the Viper Room, and let's go have some fun, because Hollywood has arrived.
Hell yeah. And it's been an honor and pleasure having you on the pod, man. And if anyone doesn't know Hunter James, they'll fucking know him now, and they better know him and figure it out, because and all the vets better watch out. They better watch the fuck out, dude.
I'm tired of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not a hot chick and you're not petting my dog and then petting me later, I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah, fuck them. And hopefully these vets have a good 401k or a retirement plan, because
I hope they don't.
Yeah.
Let them live in the box.
Hey, yeah. Fuck it. We'll see him on the side of the road somewhere. And what can you do?
I'll give him some spare change. Here's your quarter.
Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I know I talked a lot. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Hey man, that's what it's about. And because we want to hear from you and figure out who the the real Hollywood Hunter James is and what he's bringing to this game, which is a ton, man. And yeah, I'm excited to see everything you can continue to do. And yeah, we'll be watching and following along. And as I said, I'll be there. It's still here 6, and yeah, I'll be cheering, man.
Absolutely, I love to hear it. And if y'all ever want me back on here, just send me the text.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
100%, man. Yeah, we'll be definitely doing something in the future for sure. Yeah, another pro interview by the pro motherfuckers at Invasion Angle Pod. As I said earlier, this is a part of our interview series that we've brought into you lucky wrestling fans out there. And yeah, we like to have real conversations and not be sitting there like little dorks and be like, when was the first time you did the brain buster? Like, no, we've seen the brain buster. He's perfected it, you know. And yeah, we
Yeah,
want to.
maybe I know Hunter James talked about that, how that electrifying feeling of getting that first kiss. We're hoping that this is a year Jason gets that. I
Yeah,
know he's been chasing it. This is a finish a story, Jason. So we're trying
I'm
to say.
yeah.
really hoping that I can finish the story.
Finish the story, dude. Finish it.
I am engaged, but yeah, getting my first
Well, yeah,
kiss is
it's
something I'm looking
once you get
forward
married.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully.
yeah. Hopefully, on
We
your wedding
haven't.
day, you'll get kissed.
It's kind of like that movie, Never Been Kissed.
Yeah,
It's gonna be my
It's
exactly.
a
life.
Drew
And you're
Barrymore.
Drew
Who was
Barrymore.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like
yeah.
that.
You're
Mixed
definitely
with
Drew
the
Barrymore.
40-year-old virgin.
Yeah, and I just want to mention, I don't know if you guys noticed, but yes, I was drinking out of Billy Corgan's Side Hustle Madame
Oh shit!
Zuzu's
There
cup,
you go.
but I was drinking coffee today
Classic.
because I got a email from Logan Paul saying that I want you to stop drinking Prime on your show because we never said we sponsored you. And I
Mhm.
know you aren't legally in trouble because you guys say allegedly, but I'm fucking tired of it. And
Mhm.
I just want to say, Logan, how fucking dare you? But also, obviously, I'll be drinking Prime next show because it's definitely a work because Logan doesn't know what a shoot is. So I should be pretty good.
True.
I should be good. I should be all right. And I have a feeling that this is Mike, you know, sticking his nose in where it doesn't fucking belong
Mhm.
because he gets mad that I keep saying that he's Xbox illegitimate son. But I mean,
Mhm.
look at the fucking pictures, dude. It's not even a
Look
conspiracy
at the
theory. Like,
evidence.
yeah, this isn't any Andy
Mhm.
Kaufman, Donald Trump shit. He really is his son, dude. This isn't,
Mhm.
you know, back
And
to back.
it's weird that Mike was allegedly born around 94. I know that's a little bit before One Night in China, but I still think China might be his mom.
Yeah, I think so too. And because I mean, they were still, you know, before One Night in China, like, yeah, I think they probably met before then. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Can I
so
bring up
I think it's
something?
possible.
Yeah, go
Can I
ahead, dude.
bring up something that's been on my mind?
Yeah.
So, Gorilla Position is named after Gorilla Monsoon.
Is
Does
that true?
everyone know
Yeah.
that? I just Googled it and it was true. They named it
Mm.
after him and it blew my mind because I connected the dots while watching the Mr. McMahon thing that we're going to do a
We're doing
deep
a
dive
deep
on
dive
soon.
on, yeah, and that's a part of another series by Invasion Angle calls Invasion Angle Deep Dives. We basically
Also,
have
real
our own
quick,
channel.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Real quick, I was going to say I met Furio today at ShopRite in New Jersey. I'm not going to say which one. I'm not going to blow up which ShopRite he goes to.
Or Symphony.
And for all you marks,
Anyway,
that is a character from The Sopranos. And if you haven't seen that
yeah, yeah,
show,
yeah.
we're sorry, but you
Federico
should.
Castel. I don't know how to say his last name. But anyway, I shook his hand. I said, "Love your work, Furio." Didn't call him that.
Hmm.
Anyway,
I heard you did
Yeah.
the David Arquette thing too from Ready to Rumble
Yeah.
I didn't
when he
have
gets a
enough
when
time,
he gets a
dude.
free Slurpee.
I didn't have
Yeah.
enough time.
Yeah, I'm also gonna be hosting a Lost deep dive. It's just me though, and I'll be going talking about Lost by myself.
It's
I don't
Episode
know
by
if
fun.
episode.
I don't know if I'm gonna record it, but I will be talking about it.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
I
So if
maybe
you
know.
want to
just
hear about that, hit up Chris.
Yeah, and I know
mhm.
Professor Bushman would be so proud of you because he made we in to shoot a little bit in film school. This professor, cool dude, but he had us watch the first episode of Lost like 10 times. And
Hey man, I'd
if I,
watch it 11.
yeah, I know, I didn't think it was enough either. You know,
Hmm.
let's watch it a 12th time.
Hmm.
Too bad COVID ruined that. I mean, you get to watch it a 12th time on the
Yeah,
big screen. But
the
yeah, and
pandemic,
then
bro. It's fucked
And then
up.
yeah, coming up as far as interviews to look forward to, and we still got the deep dive, so we're gonna plug our own shit. Is yeah, we got some more fun guests coming along. You know, we're looking at the Zicky Dices and the Cody Fluffmans of the world. So stay tuned because we bring the dope talent in the wrestling world on that have worked in it was like today, Hunter James has worked in all the big companies
And in Italy, which is fucking sick.
and in Italy, and it just it's the Matt Cardona thing. I would say it earlier, like always ready, baby, and you gotta be, and you gotta fucking. That's how we
It's a
are.
good attitude to have for sure.
That's Yep, and that's why we go to every single show in the universe. So if you're at a wrestling show, maybe and you turn around and you hear someone scream, "Ah, fuck yeah!" It might be one of us.
Or I want, or if it's Jason, it's I want to party with you.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly. But
or if you,
I
yeah,
thought that we were all always ready, but I don't know if Chris is gonna be able to go to the Wrestle Pro show this weekend, but we'll have to see.
oh
I'm a
my
solid
god,
maybe.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm a solid maybe, dude.
Definitely maybe. Kind of
I'm seeing
like Oasis's album.
Professor Bobby tonight, so I'll talk to him.
Professor
But
Bobby,
Do the
a
job.
friend of the show, a great friend of the show, and nice shout out to Professor Bobby. We love you, Bobby. Keep being a
You are not
professor.
banned from the podcast, Bobby.
Nope, you are not. Chris's supposed brother. We still haven't got the DNA results
We're
back
not
yet
sure which
because
one.
we
yeah,
say Mike, but that really just means both of them. It's a code word.
yeah, yeah. It's just one person.
Mm-hmm.
Have we ever seen them in the same room? I don't know. I
And
don't know.
before we go, Jason, what are you having for dinner, man?
Stuffed peppers, dude. I'm
Oh,
excited.
what a day, dude.
Good stuff.
All right.
Well,
It's gonna
this is
be
a day
delicious.
of a glorious Italian
It
heritages
really is.
and
Yeah.
Episode
wrestling in
39.
Italy.
I wouldn't want it any other way, dude. Go
Yep,
ahead.
arrivederci,
Invasion angle.
or as Brad Pitt says, arrivederci.
Invasion angle.
Angle interview.
Invasion angle.
Bet you love that sweet ass podcast. I am John Cena and I approve this message. Boobies.